Raven the Science Maven. Hey y'all, it's me, Raven the Science Maven. I am so glad to be talking with you today because we need to talk. Hey y'all, I'm Raven the Science Maven, and this is Cultures for the Culture. Hey guys, I'm Raven the Science Maven. Today we're going to answer some of the world's deepest, darkest questions, such as, have you ever went to the mall and wondered, hey, what kind of germs are on this door? Or, I wonder how many people have touched this ATM before I got here? Or, is this lotion that I'm dipping into at this beauty store even clean before I put it on my face? We're going to find out. Hey everybody, it's me, Raven the Science Maven. I want to make this video to talk about viruses and give you guys a basic rundown about what viruses are.
And tell us, how did you get the name Raven the Science Maven?
Gosh, Raven the Science Maven. So, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of just came up with it in like a minute. I remember sitting in the car and I was like, I need to make a name for myself, because if you guys don't know, I think most of you are a little young, but there's a TV show called That's So Raven. And That's So Raven came out when I was 10 years old. But That's So Raven, her name is Raven Baxter on the television show.
Oh, and that's your name too.
And that's my name. So just imagine I'm 10 years old and this girl comes on TV and says, I'm Raven Baxter. And I'm like, wait a second.
So that means your future search engine optimization is just tanked.
So if you Google Raven Baxter, I don't come up yet, but I'm trying. I'm like on a mission to change it. I'm trying. But so I couldn't really just go by Raven Baxter, because then it would just be like a running joke that That's So Raven is now a scientist, and I didn't want that. So Raven the Science Maven. Not a lot of words rhyme with Raven. Shaven, Maven, nothing good, right? But Maven actually means an expert in a subject matter. And because I had a graduate degree in science, I literally mastered biology. And so I considered myself a science maven. And
Nice.
Raven the Science Maven was born. And, it's kind of a play on Bill Nye the Science Guy, just a little.
Yeah.
But it just turned out to be a really fun name. Even though you maybe don't consider yourself to be a scientist, you need to start thinking like a scientist when you look at these articles, okay? Because as a scientist, I know I think this way, and I know a lot of my scientist colleagues think this way. When we see information, we usually deem it to be false until proven to be true. And we prove it to be true by conducting research. So when you see something on the internet that you think is maybe kind of fishy, something doesn't seem right, or if it's something you've never heard of before, don't just jump into it thinking, oh, then this must be true because it's something new. I've never seen this before. It must be true. That may or may not be the case. So some phrases that usually you find in these headlines that I want you to look out for, and I'm talking about specifically to science. There's a ton of tricky headlines out there that are misleading and use words that are vague and gives an impression of something that's not quite accurate, right? So as far as science headlines go, you'll see some headlines that say study shows, or scientists say, or cure for cancer found, right? Those are very broad statements that have to be investigated. So don't you go sharing posts on Facebook with those broad sweeping statements without really looking into it. Click the article, read it. Now, when you're going and you're reading the article, there are some more questions that you have to ask yourself. So, for example, I said some of the tricky headlines say, study shows. You want to look at what study are they talking about? Who did the study? Who participated in the study? How were the study participants selected? We'll talk a little more about that later. Another headline, scientists say. What scientists? There's so many scientists in the world. I ain't say it. I'm a scientist. I ain't say that mess. This is, as you can see, there are a ton of little dots on this plate from the toilet seat. Each one of those colonies represents bacterial growth, right? Speaking informally, you could say that plates with the most number of colonies are the dirtiest versus plates that don't have as many colonies on there. You could say that they were cleaner. So my first idea was, I know that escalators, everyone puts their hands on them. Everyone's grabbing onto them for stability as they're going from one floor to the next. So I thought that that would be a great place to swab. I wanted to test 2 escalators at the mall. One escalator is in front of a department store that closed. So I suspected that there may not be many people who go and use that escalator. And then the other escalators actually by a very popular department store that is still open. And I thought that there would be more traffic in that area. So I hypothesized that that escalator might be a little bit dirtier or have more germs on it than the escalator that's near the department store that closed. However, the results were actually really interesting. Both of the escalators were honestly not that dirty. Both of the escalators seemed to have the same amount of bacteria on them when I swabbed them. There were some studies done saying that it's actually dirtier to use that automatic hand dryer than it is to use the manual paper towel dispenser that everybody touches. So it just so happens that the air dryer was the 3rd dirtiest location in this entire test. You just wouldn't expect that of all these places that we tested, that this would be the 3rd dirtiest, right? The cleanest thing that was at the gas station, the gas pump handle. I could not believe this. I could not believe this. Everybody's getting gas, and you mean to tell me that the thing that everybody's touching grew no colonies? Any good scientist would have tested all of the pumps at the gas station, right? Any good scientist would have taken as many samples as possible to get the most accurate conclusion to the test. But we only took 1 sample, but still, I mean, it's crazy. It just blew my mind. It was really crazy.
Well, a student at UB is using science to show young people how important it is to stay safe until this threat passes. Jeff Rusak tonight introduces us to Raven, the science maven.
This is Wipe It Down, a music video created by Western New York's own Raven Baxter, better known as Raven the Science Maven. In late March, she made this rap and video about COVID-19.
I wanted to make something for the public and really just the everyday person to have and be able to understand something about COVID-19. It's a virus with a corona, a crown like a queen. I have a deeply technical background in molecular biology. I've worked as a cancer researcher. I've worked as a biology professor.
Monday, she was at it again. Okay. She was live on Mayor Byron Brown's Instagram account showcasing a social distancing experiment. Raven is currently working on her PhD, and while these videos may seem like a side project to inform, they're really much more.
I'm actually studying the impact of my music videos on the science community and how representation in science, as shown in my music videos, impacts how adults relate to science.
Wipe it down. Wipe it down. Okay, I'm not going to be Raven's backup singer anytime soon, but she does have an album coming out. Raven the Science Maven, and you guessed it, it's science related. That's coming out in the fall. For now, Jeff Rusak, Wipe It Down, 7 Eyewitness News.
Wipe it down, Clorox, wipe it down, Lysol, wipe it down, Clorox, wipe it down, wash your body, wash your hair, and
Hey, boss girl, that B.I., the B.I., I'm the HBIC. See me in the lab with the drip, no D.I. Girls taking over and it ain't gon' be mine. Hey, boss girl, that B.I., the B.I., I'm the HBIC. See me in the lab with the drip, no D.I. Girls taking over and it ain't gon' be nice.
I got the guts and I ain't talking about no GI. Call me Western Block, man, no TI. Pull up to the joint, it's mad dry, and I see why. Everywhere I look wasn't a person who could be I. Principal investigator, top of the line numerator. Got so many degrees, you would think it's an incinerator. Throw it in a circle like a particle accelerator. Make your heart stop, go ahead, get the defibrillator.
Hey, boss girl, that B.I., the B.I., I'm the HBIC. See me in the lab with the drip, no D.I. Girls taking over and it ain't gon' be mine. Hey, boss girl, that B.I., the B.I., I'm the HBIC. See me in the lab with the drip, no D.I. Girls taking over and it ain't gon' be nice.
I'ma set it off, I'm the bomb and the detonator. Haters couldn't do the math, had to get it calculator. I'm up in the hood, got some cells in the incubator. Global impact, science maven out here making craters. Poppin' cause I'm poppin' and I'm corny, that's a mode. Call me Turner, run the system, I don't cheat, I got the code. Gotta put my sisters on like it's an underground railroad. Watch us hold it down on 10 toes, never fold.
Hey, boss girl, that B.I., the B.I., I'm the HBIC. See me in the lab with the drip, no D.I. Girls taking over and it ain't gon' be mine. Hey, boss girl, that B.I., the B.I., I'm the HBIC. See me in the lab with the drip, no D.I. Girls taking over and it ain't gon' be nice.
Strike a pose, touch my toes, shake some adipose. Strike a pose, touch my toes, shake some adipose.
Hey, boss girl, that B.I., the B.I., I'm the HBIC. See me in the lab with the drip, no D.I. Girls taking over and it ain't gon' be mine. Hey, boss girl, that B.I., the B.I.,